Make sure you have something to write with. Lupa, did you get your packet?
Yeah, my freaking packet.
Excuse me? What did you say?
Oh, it's a TikTok, sorry.
Huh?
It's like, never mind. Look, can you stop? I'm 13.
I thought you were older than me.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know.
You're little.
Hi, little gangsters. Welcome back to another video.
Hey y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm back with another banger. Oh, you guys are gonna be watching this? Okay, Vega. I promise I'm a good kid. Vega's gonna be watching that. You're on your best behavior, Griselda.
Griselda, please. Okay, everyone have their packet. Everyone have their packet? Yes, good. So turn to page 7. Turn to page 7.
Miss, can I not sit by myself?
What?
Can I not sit by myself?
Come sit over here.
Can I sit right there?
Yeah. Are you going to be paying attention and participating?
Maybe.
Huh? Let me remind you, I got the whole list this morning too of all the students with D's and F's. Sharpen?
I'm a Me too. But it's like the third. I don't know. Why? You want to do my work? Oh, yeah, we did.
Okay. So we're going to review from page 8. We are going to review from page 8. So everyone turn to page 8. Turn to page 8. Okay, page 8. So let's just do some review from yesterday, and then we will pick up where we left off. So at the top, at page 8, he is continuing to talk about his home, okay? And so we know from page 7 that he acknowledges some of the dangers of where his home is. Does anybody recall some of those things that he said he had seen as he was addressing everyone on the bus? Screaming, good. Screaming and yelling from what? Gunshots, right. And he gives us an image. What does he say?
It's a young man with a silver gun.
A young man with a silver gun. Good. And he gives us that visual of, remember those sensory details. Those little appealing to the sense of vision. He gives us that little shiny gun. That little shiny gun gives us that image that there. He says, yes, I have seen a teen with a gun in his hand. I have heard yelling and screaming. So he is acknowledging that yes, there is dangers in the ghetto where he lives. Okay, and what is the point of that? Think back to your argumentative writing. What is the point of acknowledging the opposing view? To do what, William? Okay, he's countering, and what's the point of acknowledging the opposing side? What does it do for your argument? It makes it stronger. Okay, remember that? That was the whole point when we were argumentative writing. We acknowledged that You might want to use drone bees in order to keep pollinating flowers so that we can have fruit and vegetables. Okay, but then you go back and you defend your own stance. Okay, so he's saying, yes, there is some dangers in the ghetto. I have seen a young man with a shiny gun. I have heard sirens and screaming and yelling and, there is crime. He's acknowledging that. And then he goes to page 8. So everyone on page 8, okay? And he starts to tell us, however. I'll wait for you to watch. And then he starts to say, however. So what do you think he is going to start telling us now? What's that word, however? What does that do? What does that do, the word however? Huh? Raise your hand. Who can tell me? What does the word however do? George? It changes the script. Good, okay? It's like saying but, okay? Yes, there is all these dangers where I live. However, and he's going to change the script. And what do we think that he is going to start telling us now? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Go ahead. Which is? Because whose view is he acknowledging? That where he lives is dangerous. Who is thinking that? People who live in the ghetto or not in the ghetto?
No.
Not in the ghetto, right? This is your perception. This is what you think how you think it is where I live. However, I'm about to tell you what? Is he about to lie or tell us the truth?
True.
He's going to tell us the truth. Does he have high ethos? Why? Because that's where he lives. Good. Okay? So if you live there, we're going to believe you because you're not just a person driving by. You're not just a person watching the news and seeing what the media is showing us. He actually lives there. So he's about to tell us. However, who would like to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Who would like to read the first 6 lines? Anyone? Raise your hand if you would like to read the first 6 lines. And then I will choose you. Okay, Vina and then Harmony, you can read after that. Okay, so listen and follow along because I am going to ask you questions. Yes, please stand.
However, I see journals that don't figure out the description. I see families at dinners and joint celebration. I see kids play soccer and score of LAP. I see faces of the elderly in exaggeration. I see friends meeting and laughing at the
Okay, very nice. Okay, so what did you get for your annotation for that, Vina? What did you guys discuss in your group? Remember we were discussing in the group, writing our annotation.
Oh, that the ghetto is not always a bad place.
Right, it doesn't sound like a very bad place, does it, Libby? We have joint celebration. You have families at dinner celebrating. We have kids playing in elation. What is that word? If you're playing what does that mean? When he says, I see kids playing soccer and scores of elation. What does that mean? Is that positive or negative? Positive, okay? Anybody know what the word elation represents? Happy, good. Happy, cheerful. Okay, so yeah, we have old people. If an old person's, an elderly is old people, we all know that. I see the faces of the elderly in exaggeration. So that gives us an image. So like if an elderly person is expressing something with exaggerated expressions, what might that elderly person be doing?
Being happy.
Gonna make me keep doing this? What do you do when you're using expressions?
Silly.
Huh? What are you doing usually?
Being positive.
What? Okay, but why are you doing? He says, I see
Excited.
elderly people, huh?
Excited.
Right, huh? They're speaking, and what might they be speaking about? Stories, okay? Have you ever had a conversation with an elderly person? They love to tell stories about their history, about their lives, about things that they know about, okay? So this does not sound, does this fit the ugly description of crime and dirty and poor and all of that? Does it? Dahlia, does this fit the ugly description?
No.
No. Okay, so there we go. Here's a word for you. Ready? Juxtaposition. Everyone, it's J-U-X-T. Juxtaposition. Juxtaposition. Okay, that is where in poetry the script changes. Like George said, he changes the script and he gives us that word however. This is where first he's talking about all of the dangers that people who do not live there, how they view the ghetto as a crime-ridden, what does he say? What else does he say? Gang-infested, dirty manifestations. Those are the words he uses, that people that don't live there. However, he has high ethos because he lives there. So he is able to say, this is what I see. And do we believe him? Yes, he has high credibility. Why does he have high credibility, Pablo? Because that's his home. Okay, good. That is where he lives. Okay? All right, good. So he changes it up. So that word juxtaposition you're going to see in poetry a lot. And when you're writing your own poetry, same thing with argumentative writing. You want to address the opposing view, and then you want to switch it up. You want to change it to make what you are saying stronger. Okay. So now let's go to the next 6 lines. Harmony said she wanted to read next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, go right ahead. Everyone following along because I will be asking you questions. Okay, go ahead. Face the class. Harmony, nice and loud.
I see houses painted white.
HOAs.
I hear loud music crashing on the sea on national. I feel the pulse of the moment and the sheen of beautiful moments that people have.
Okay, does that sound like an ugly description of a place to live? Okay, no. Okay, so he is, so that HOA, an HOA is where when people, it's an organization. So if you buy a home in in a very expensive neighborhood, usually in very expensive neighborhoods, they have gated communities, and they also, when they buy a home there, they have to sign a contract saying that they will abide, they will go along with all of these specific rules. Just sit in that. You can sit right here. They have to, okay, so when you buy a home, say all of us each bought a home. Say Dahlia and William and Griselda and Channing all live in this nice, beautiful, gated community, and I buy a house there. They're gonna say, okay, that's fine, even though you're gonna spend $700,000 on your home, but you have to abide by our rules. And our rules say that you cannot paint your house any kind of color. You have to only paint it you have to leave it the way it is. You have to maintain your yard. You can't have your tags better be up to date, or you can't park your car there. There's all these very specific rules if you want to live in that area. That's what an HOA is. So he's saying that they can paint their house whatever color they want. You see houses with vibrant colors that HOAs would ban. Okay, so that's what that HOA is. So far it does not sound like an awful place to live. So Harmony, can you tell us what your annotation was for those lines? Go ahead and stand and deliver, please.
I put people who have a natural dark skin.
Okay, they talk about natural tans. What does that tell us about the population of the people who live in the so-called ghetto? What is basically, it's a diverse community, right? And who has natural tans? And Mexicans, Hispanics, okay? We have natural tans. I can go out in the sun for 30 minutes, I get a nice glow. Okay, we have natural tans. Okay, good. All right, who wants to read the next 6 lines? Let's see, where we're at. Beautiful murals. Okay, okay. Okay, I just want to focus on the next 2 lines. So anyone care to volunteer and read the next 2 lines? Because we need to talk about that for a moment. Eliana. This table is the hot seat, I guess. Eliana, can you please stand and read the next 2 lines because we are going to talk about it because here is one of your questions. Okay, what mission do you think the speaker has received, and do we know the speaker's name? Do we know if it's a male or a female? Do we know that?
Yeah.
It never says he.
What? It's by Dominic Camino.
That's the writer. Okay? Dominic Carrillo is the author. He is the writer. But he is not the speaker of the story. Do we know, Liv, if the speaker is male or female?
No.
Do we know, Channing, if the speaker ever has a name? No. So we do not know. All we know is it's just a human being. Okay? And again, going back to the writer, the author who created this story, do you think that the writer did that on purpose? Pablo, do you think that the writer deliberately left out the gender and the name of the speaker?
Yeah.
Why?
So like who is one like this or like
Okay, can you kind of deliver and tell us that a little bit? Because I want to talk about it for a moment. Okay, so pay attention. And as we're sharing, add these little notes onto your packet because when we have to speak to these questions, it's going to help you. Then we can go back and review. Go ahead.
I think like the author like left out the gender name so you focus more on like just the story.
Okay, yeah, focusing more on the man and the idea of the story because whether you want to accept it or not, we all do have a certain measure of bias. Okay, so he wanted us, to maybe focus more on the main idea of what was going on in the story as opposed to thinking what males should do and what females should do. Okay, our biases. And we'll talk more about that as after we're all done reading. Okay, so I'm sorry, Eliana, you were gonna read the next 2 lines for us. So star these 2 lines because these 2 lines speak to this question, the mission. Okay, the mission of the story. I mean, the mission, like why did Che give the speaker his poem before he got off the bus? Okay, is it a mission? Am I supposed to do something? So these 2 lines, star them because this is good evidence that you can go back and reference. Okay, so go ahead, Eliana, can you please read those next 2 lines after beautiful murals, the next 2 lines. Go ahead. Okay, stop. No talking. Can you face us and do it louder, please? In a level 3 voice, just like me. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see. Santi, will you read those next 2 lines again? Oh, you came in late. Let's call it. No, Michelle. So we're on page 8. Right here, these 2 lines. Okay? Okay, so listen because we're going to talk about those. It's going to speak to one of our questions that you're going to respond to today. Go ahead.
So if not the mainstream media and not the TV, at least let's start it just you and me.
Okay, good. So where are we getting these ideas? If we do not live in the ghetto, where are we getting the ideas that it is a bad place to live, that it is unsafe?
For people that live in the ghetto.
Raise your hand. Where, based on these 2 lines that we just read, where are we getting our ideas that the ghetto is not a safe place to live? Okay, stand and deliver.
The news.
Good. Okay, very good. The news, because he said, and what evidence tells you that?
The TV.
What does it say in the text?
Says, so if not the what's that word?
Mainstream.
Mainstream media and not the TV.
Okay, good. That tells us that this is where we are getting our ideas from. Okay, and then he says, okay, and so if not for the mainstream media and not the TV, at least let's start just you and me. Underline that line right there. Everyone underline that line right there because I'm going to ask you, you're going to have a discussion in your group. Right now, let's take maybe about a minute. Discuss in your group. Start with group member A. Group number A, Something you can join this group. You can just pull a chair up next to William if he doesn't mind. And you are going, what does he mean? What does he mean? At least let's start it, just you and me. Start what? What can you and me just start right now? What does he mean? Okay, so start off to think about it. What does that mean? He's saying, so if not the mainstream media and not the TV, at least let's start it. Just you and me. What's it? What does he want to start? What is it? What does he want to start? Okay, who is he talking to? Who can start it? What does he mean? Okay, so we should be having that conversation. What's it? Let's start it. What can we use it? And what do we do? What can we start right now? Okay. 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 Then 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, so let's see. Who wants to share out in their group? Channing. You were just about to share. Okay, what do you think? What did you guys discuss in your group? Okay, what is, let's just, what does it say here? Who wants to read? Can you stand and read, Channing? Stand and read those 2 lines again, and then tell us what you all talked about in your group. Okay? We should all be listening to the speaker. Okay, always wait for everyone to be listening. Go ahead.
So if not, wait, that one?
Yes, those 2 lines.
So if not the mainstream media and not the TV, at least let's start it, just you and me.
Okay, what did you talk about in your group? Let's start what? What's it?
Let's start using ghetto, right way.
Okay, which is what way?
About.
All right, okay, and how are these girls in the story using the word ghetto? And are they using it positively or negatively?
Negatively.
Okay, so what does he want us to start using it the correct way? Okay, and anybody, I want to talk a little bit, let's just start right now, you and me, okay? So now he's giving us a grammar lesson, right? That we should use ghetto the correct way because it is not an adjective, it is not a noun, but what is the deeper meaning behind that? What is that deeper meaning behind that? It's not just about using correct English. What is it about? Why is he so offended? Raise your hand, raise your hand. She's on something. Okay, Lupe.
Which one though?
Both of you. I'll start with you, Lupe R. Can you please stand and tell us, okay, let's start making this change right now. First of all, let's start using it the correct way. It's not an adjective, it's a noun. Why is it a noun? What is it? A person, place, or thing. The ghetto. It's a place, right? So it is a noun. Okay, so what is the deeper meaning behind this? What do you think?
Like, what do you mean?
Okay, I mean okay, so he's saying, he's telling these girls, the title of the story, ghetto is not an adjective. So let's not use it as a descriptive word, it is a place. But why is he giving them this whole speech about it? Because why is he offended that they're using it as an adjective in a negative way?
Because the way he describes the people in the poem, it seems like they're so family oriented and they seem happier than most people, even though the way they live isn't the best.
Okay, good. So why is he explaining all of this to all the people on the bus?
Because they use it like if it's a bad thing.
And why do you think that they use it that way?
Because of the way they put it on social media.
That's the way that they see it. Are they people that live there?
No.
Probably not. Okay, good. Okay, he is schooling you. Thank you very much. That was nice. Good. Okay, how about the other Luba? You want to add to that? What did you have? What did you write for your annotation? Can you just stand and share your annotation? And then we're going to talk a little bit more about that before we move on.
They're thinking about it in another way.
Pardon me?
They're thinking about it in another way, like how they think.
Yeah, their perception of where they live is they're thinking it as it's not a good, safe place to live. And that's why. So it's more than him just giving us an English lesson, a grammar lesson, that it is not an adjective, it's a noun. It is also the place that I live. And you don't know because you think it's this gang-infested, crime-ridden, what does the text say, dirty manifestation in that line. However, I see families having dinner. I see kids playing soccer. I see old people telling story in exaggeration, and even a rare occasion. What's rare mean? If it's a rare occasion, is it? Uncommon. Doesn't happen very often. Of a considerate cop. Okay? Usually we're afraid of police because they're going to pull us over and give us a ticket, or get us in trouble somehow, or we're not obeying the rules. So, but maybe you have someone who's a little more understanding. Okay. So again, that's very important, those two lines, because like Lupe R. just beautifully explained, it speaks to the reason of why he tossed his poem onto the lap of the speaker before he gets off the bus. Okay? He or she accepts it as some type of mission. Okay? And what is that mission? What do you think? And that's what we're going to explain before you leave. What do you think that mission could be? Okay, think about that, because you're going to write to this, William, and then we're going to share out before we go. Okay, so we're just going to finish this part of the poem, and then we're going to call it good, and then you're going to speak to this question. What mission, Joshua, do you think the speaker has received after Chet tosses him or her the poem? Okay. Okay, so let's see. Who wants to read? Any volunteers want to read the next? Where are we?
I'll read
Okay, at least start. Okay, and all the way down to. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Let's read the next 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I'm a little slow this morning. Okay, anyone care? Let's see. Who wants to read the next 5 lines? George, can you please stand and read the next 5 lines? Okay? Can you stand and project your voice? So everyone, we are starting at and not getaways. Okay, stand, please stand. Okay, everyone following along. Put that away. Right now. Oh, wait. Okay, go ahead.
And not get wise our roots and our ways, know the meaning of our words, and question and say, yes, I live in one of the many ghettos.
Okay, stop right there. Okay, we have to think about that one. Okay? And again, what can we do, Libby? We talked about this yesterday, because poetry it looks easy, it seems easy because it looks so simple. But when you are reading poetry and trying to create meaning, you have to do what if you're stuck?
Get out of it.
Hold on.
Read each word and define it.
Yes, but can you stand and tell us?
You read each word and define each word.
Yeah, if you don't know what it means, you want to figure out what it means. You have to deconstruct it. Take it apart word for word. Take it apart line by line. Okay, that's why we started reading this. We took turns reading it line by line, and it takes a long time. Yes, it does. But when you are writing poetry, you have to. It's hard. It's challenging because you really have to reach deep down inside yourself and think of the truth. Find the truth, because many of us are used to lying. How are you? Fine. How was school? Okay. And really maybe it wasn't okay. Maybe we're not fine. If you really have to sit down, sometimes you get caught up in something. And you think, how did I get caught up in that? How did I get in trouble? Why am I sitting in the reflection center? what happened, okay? You have to go back and you have to find the truth within yourself. And that's what makes poetry challenging to write, because it's so honest, okay? So, anyways, I don't know where that came from. But he says, and not get it. So, what about for the annotation? George, what did you guys write? Anyone in that group, what did you write for your annotation for those 5 lines? And not ghettoize our lives, our roots, and our ways. Know the meaning of our words and question and say, yes, I live in many ghettos. Anyone in that group? Luwachi, what did you get for that annotation for that in that poem? For those lines, can you please stand and share? Nice and loud.
And not getting eyes or life.
Uh-huh.
Discriminated.
Let's not discriminate. Is that what you said? Great word. Thank you. Why do we need to be discriminating? What does discrimination mean? Just to discriminate. Anyone raise your hand? What does discriminate mean? Go ahead. In a way, okay. Think back to that word segregation. Remember when he uses the word segregation? What? No. Okay. If you are discriminating against something, someone, what are you doing? Okay. And how?
Talking bad.
Huh? Kind of talking bad about them. Not maybe hating.
Beefing.
Huh? What's that? Having a negative view of. Okay, discrimination is like, well, you can't work at that job because we only hire men. Are they who's being discriminated against? Women. Okay, so that's a good word. So in the poem, who does the speaker feel is being discriminated against?
Ghetto.
People what?
Ghetto.
People who live there, right, in that ghetto area. You're discriminating against. That was a really good interpretation, Wachi. Yeah, okay, let's not ghettoize our lives, our roots and our ways. That deals with discrimination. That's such a good word, because are we all the same? Dahlia, do we all come from the same area? Are we all the same ethnicity? Are we all the same? Do we all have the same thoughts? No. When I am a teacher and I look at it like I am teaching a room full of individuals with different interests and different learning styles and different backgrounds. Okay, so he's saying that let's not ghettoize our life. That's the mission. So that right there, you need to star that heart, because again, it speaks to this question. Okay, so when you are going back and you are citing evidence and we are writing about it, this is where you want to go. Okay, almost done. So, and then this last line, and question and say, yes, I live in one of many ghettos. Okay, because if we think of ghetto in terms of being discriminated against and being judged, Channing, do you feel like you've ever felt like someone was judging you? Somebody was maybe not treating you in a nice way because they didn't like who you were, how you dressed, or how you looked? Have you ever felt that way? So this is what he's doing right here. He is using this as an example. And saying we can question and ask, we might live in many ghettos. Because again, it goes back to that discrimination at the beginning when we talked about racialization. Put that down. And segregation, okay? Being judged, being racialized against just because you don't like where I live. Okay? So that right there in the text is going to speak to the prompt that we're going to be writing about. Okay? I'm in a favela. I'm in a slum. Okay, next page, page 9. Anyone want to read the last part? Oh, Joshua, you said you wanted to read, so can you stand and read the last part? Yeah. Just the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines.
What page?
This one. The poem.
Oh. 5 more.
Hold on, everyone's not ready. everybody something, Griselda? Okay, following along, because I'm going to ask you questions. Go ahead.
But I need no more.
But I don't need.
But I don't need more. No more. Sour.
Slumlords. Okay, I'm gonna pause right there. What's a slumlord? Go ahead, William, what? Can you stand and tell us? What's a slum?
Like place where you sleep. So like it's like really bad.
Okay, very run down place to live. And what, okay, but what's that's what the place. What's a slum lord? Huh? I can't hear you. Stand and deliver. None of us can hear you.
The person who owns it.
The person who owns it, okay? So if you rent an apartment and the person who owns it doesn't fix the leaky faucet or doesn't fix a broken window or doesn't fix the air conditioner but charges you all kinds of rent, then that might be considered a slumlord, okay? It's an oppressor, somebody who can kind of control you in a certain measure. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
So don't trap us with your words. Evaporate the place I live. And please remember, ghetto you.
Okay, very nice. All right. So that last part, Olivia, you want to show your annotation, or somebody over here in this group. Mia, what did you get for that last part for your annotation? Anyone in your group or you? Okay, who wants to share their annotation? Sal, did you get the annotation for that? Okay, well, let's talk about it. Okay, line by line. But I don't need no more slumlords. So next to that line, a slumlord is somebody that kind of controls you. So you don't need somebody controlling you, so write that down. Okay, don't need another person trying to control me. Okay, control, because if you live somewhere and someone is responsible for fixing your broken air conditioner and they don't fix it, yet you still have to pay rent, that's a sort of like control. Okay, you're depending on them. Okay, also, don't trap us with your words. How does the word ghetto trap someone, Griselda? How might it trap it? What did you get for your annotation?
Like, we can't,
If someone's going around saying you're so ghetto, how could that trap him? How could that make him feel trapped? Because what is that word doing? What else is that? Okay, it's called like a form of separation, like you're so ghetto and I'm not ghetto. But think about how language is socially constructed. Okay, when I was your age, a ghetto was simply an older part of town. Maybe lower income people live there. It wasn't. We never ever called anyone ghetto. So when someone starts calling someone ghetto, what might happen to their friend, with their friends and their family, people that they're around? Dadia, what might they start doing? Okay, you guys do this all the time. You come up with a word and you use it, and then what happens if your friend likes that word? What's your friend gonna do?
Drag me.
What's your friend gonna do? They're gonna start using it too. Language is socially constructed. That you guys change the meanings of words all the time, because so ghetto is a noun. It is not an adjective. Okay, so he starts off like. So did he reduce his nature and start telling these girls off and like using bad words and like being mean to them? Did he do that, Elena? In the story, the speaker Chet, did he start harassing these girls back and telling them off and telling them that they were?
Yeah. No. I don't know. I don't know. No.
Have you not read it?
No, I don't remember. I was like zoned out.
Okay, the girls use the word ghetto as an adjective. That offends Che because that's where he lives. So in this poem, anywhere, does it seem like he is being mean to those girls, like cussing them out or telling them off or saying, okay, no. He is, what type of poem is this? Anybody remember? When you were going on and on and on and complaining about something? A rant. Good. Okay. He goes on a rant and he schools them. Okay. He begins with giving them, like, first of all, you're not even like using the word correctly. Okay. We're gonna stop there and you're gonna do a little bit of writing. Okay. So somewhere on your packet, or if you want paper, let me know. I think you should just find a place on your packet. Because this is a discussion question, Joshua. Alex? No. Just find a space. Find a blank space on your packet. Find a blank space on your packet. Find a blank space on your packet, which is a discussion question. I'm not going to collect it. I'm going to grade your reading packets. 55 points due on Friday. So that's a big chunk that's going to go into the grade book. You're going to answer the first question, okay? What mission do you think the speaker has received after Chad tosses him or her his poem, okay? Think about how the speaker was affected by this poem. Because can someone please tell us, Alex, what do you remember at the beginning when we were reading the story? In the beginning, the speaker has an inner struggle. Do you remember? Can you please stand and deliver? And can you tell us what that inner struggle was? What do you think his or her inner struggle was?
I think her inner struggle was trying to find who they were.
Trying to find what?
Who they were.
Who they were? Okay, in what way? Is there something specific that he or she is struggling with?
Since she's next to and white,
Yes. So how might she be feeling or not feeling?
she might think that she doesn't fit in with you.
Good. Okay. Feelings of not being fully accepted. So remember, this is a whole unit on empathy. Okay. So in our final, we're going to be addressing that. Okay. So in terms of empathy, have you ever felt like you did not fit in? Okay, not feeling fully accepted. It's not that she wasn't fully or he wasn't fully accepted. Their feelings of not being fully accepted and not because of her ethnicity. She's half white and half Hispanic. So you have to think about that. How and go back to those lines that we started. Okay? Go back to those lines that we started. So I will give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Wait, what?
I expect everyone to be thinking and writing.
This. I just said these.
Okay.
No,
You're not even on the right page. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so you're gonna have to go back and forth to the poem. Okay, so we're already, okay, so the mission that speaker, I'm not gonna help you if you're not gonna take me seriously. I'm trying to, but you're distracting me with your laughing. Do you need help? Okay. So in that poem, in those lines, go to the poem really quickly and go back to those lines that we started. Okay, go back to the text and go to those 2 lines that we started. Okay, so what he goes, but on social media, at least let's start just doing. So if you're gonna start doing something, what are you doing? If you don't make your bed ever, and then all of a sudden you start making your bed, what are you doing? Good. Write that word. Change. Okay. My little agents of change. Okay, so that has to do with it. So, what mission do you think the speaker has received after chat? Change. Okay, how and most importantly, good, you're already on the right track. Okay, most importantly, not just changing the word, but maybe how would be. Yes! Sorry. I'm I want to tell you, but I want you to figure it out. Okay, talk to your group. Talk to your group. What do we got over here? That was great, thank you. See? See why I did now? Okay, George, what are you writing about? So you want to reference those two lines. Okay, did you have a question or a need or something that you... And I will let you go, but when it's all done, sometime I dealt with, now I'm gonna set the Okay, one more minute where I'm gonna ask at least one person to share out before we pack up. Do not pack up. I will tell you. Okay, one more minute and I would ask first I'm gonna ask you to share because I was just so fair. Does anyone want to share here too? We'll share out again tomorrow also, but in 20 seconds, I'm going to ask Griselda, ask you to share, please, and then we'll review tomorrow and continue on. Do not take that out because you're telling everybody to back up. Okay. I don't see you writing, Shani. Okay, take that back out. I told you not to pack up. Okay, what? Okay, let's just hear it really quick and then pack up. Wait. Go ahead, Griselda. Stand and deliver. Okay, listen, especially if you don't have anything. Shh, hold on. People are still talking. Okay, go. Okay, very nice. Change how we use our words. Change the lesson. Pack up. I will dismiss you group by group.